Hey campers, George here in the man cave. Just got a new knife coming from Buck. This guy, the 385. Let's check it out. So as I was saying, it's the Buck 385. And if you're wondering what that is, the catalog number 3137. And this is, if you look here, the Buck 385 Toothpick. Yeah, a toothpick. I don't own many of those. In fact, I own one other one, and it's this guy here, a while back from Rough Rider. And it's their Faded Blue Denim series, which I'm trying to collect the whole thing. And this was in it. And I was pretty impressed with this little guy. And then I was just flirting around the internet there, looking for a good time knife. And what do you know? A buck. I own a couple of bucks, not many of them. I'm on a budget, and here it is here. It's this guy here. Look at that. Tiny little guy. If you look at it in my hand, you can see how small it is. Now, I really like the look of this. And, you know, it is a toothpick, and it has that familiar shape to it, like you saw on that Rough Rider. This guy, they are tiny, but I'm always been impressed with Buck. My first real working EDC knife that I carried for the longest time, 10 years or so, was a little Buck Spitfire. And that thing was awesome. I think I lost it 4 times and it got returned to me. I still have it. Great little knife. It's this guy here. And when I bought it, I think it was like 20 bucks. I think they're like 40 something now. But that was a while ago. Yeah, after all, I'm kind of old. So like I said, this is the Buck Knives, the 385 Toothpick. And it's got a nice wood handle on it. I really like that. Yeah. Very nice. And feeling it right now, it's really clean. There's no catchy pieces to it. It's nice and smooth. Of course, it has the, you know, the bolster on this side, your pivot bolster, and then it has this nice long bolster back here, which gives it a really cool look, if you look at that. The reason I got it was when I saw the blade, I thought, wow, that's kind of little bitty. Long and thin. Check this out. Look at that. See that? This is a whole new California clip. It's from way back here, and it's got that long sweep in and the blade coming up here like that to a really awesome point. Interestingly enough, they didn't put a false edge on it. I think it's just too small to do that. And it has a huge nail nick there. You can see that. On the other side, it's just plain. And then if you look on the ricasso there, it says 385, and I'm not sure what that's meant to be. It's some sort of symbol, like a sideways Z, and it says Buck on it. Let me see if I can show it to you there. You see that? Not sure what that symbol stands for. I'll have to look that up. I gotta know, now that I've seen it. And of course it has the wood handle. I'm not sure what wood it is. All they say is it's a wood grain handle. And you have your pins. It has 3 pins in here, and the big bolsters. It's you know, your 3 pins, the bolsters, the big bolsters on it. And of course they, like most of these guys, it's nickel silver. So very nice. Now, interestingly enough, they call the steel 420J2. Yeah, I had to look it up. But we'll get into that when we look a little closer at the blade. We'll have a closer look and talk a little bit about that. And if you're not familiar with Buck knives, I would be shocked. They've been around since about 1902. And they are an American company. And I believe I saw a post somewhere that they have finally decided to come back to the US for their production. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. because, say what you may, it costs a lot more to produce a knife in the US than it does in places like China, North Korea, India, Pakistan, you name it. They're all doing it. So I thought that was interesting, but to be honest, I'm not surprised. Buck's been around, and they are an American company. They're well known and, have a long history, so I'm not surprised about that. Looking at this guy, it's pretty cool. It's long and thin, and it has kind of a half stop. When you pull it out, it stops there and then it clicks in, but it's not a true half stop. It just seems to stop there because the bolster's pretty tight on there. So interesting. It's not going to just slip down on you. I thought that was interesting. Say hello to Mary. She wants to know all about buck. She hasn't seen my buck knives before, and I'm sure she'll be interested in the box. Seems to be the only thing she ever... Oh, maybe not. Anyway, yep, she's still around and still bothering me like a 3-year-old. That wood grain handle, like I said, I don't know what wood it is, but it is very cool looking. It's very nice. I like that. Like I said, nice and smooth, nice and clean. Let's have a look at some of the specs on it and that sort of thing. So closed, looking right here, and shock and horror, exactly 3 inches. So you can see that there. And like I said, it's a tiny little thing. You can hide it in your hand. The nice thing I like about a toothpick like this is that it's so small and they're reasonably light. It's not light, it's got a bit of weight to it, but you barely feel these things in your pocket. And for me, that's a plus. It would be nice if it was thinner, but that's something else I want to show you on the blade. It's long and thin, but it's got some thickness to it. So, and I suppose that's a good thing. Otherwise, it was too thin. When it's long and thin like this, it'll be bending all over the place. So they did a good job there. Open like this, from the very tip of that huge California clip to the long bolster at the back is 5 1/4. The clip, the actual blade, from the tip to the, it's kind of got a choil. It's a really tiny choil on it there. Actually, to the bolster, in other words, the working edge of the blade, the cutting edge of the blade, that is exactly 2 inches. Gotta love it. Pretty little knife. When I looked at the Rough Rider, I really like that series. I like the color. I like that faded denim stuff. But this is truly traditional. Very typical for buck. They are a true traditional, when they come out with a traditional knife, it has this look. And it's the look of the buck. Same thing like the old timers and that sort of thing. But it's really a pretty knife. Is it sharp? It kind of feels sharp. Got a piece of paper, George? Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, it's reasonably sharp. It'll do the trick. It's not a true clean cut. If you look at the edges, it gets a little furry in places. But hey, from the factory, that's not bad. You're going to get that with buck. So there you have it. It is the 385 buck toothpick. And it's a tiny little thing. I'm really liking these little things. And I'm thinking something like this, I think one of my daughters would enjoy to have this in their purse, that sort of thing, carry on. It's nice and small, and it'll do all the chores they need. It is a gentleman's knife. They used to carry them around. They clean their nails and cut their cigars with it and do little chores with it like that. It was very popular back in the day. And of course, Buck, they have a lifetime warranty on their stuff. Still do, always have, and they still do have it. So, don't send it to them because he uses this as a pry bar. If it fails for manufacturing, things like that, they'll replace it with you. Beautiful little knife. Can't complain about that. By the way, I said it's got some weight to it. Just looking at the specs here, they say 0.8 ounces, about 22.8 grams. Nothing really. Put it in your pocket, you won't even know it's there. It'll be there when you need it though. And this blade has got a multitude of uses. Cleaning your nails is not one of them. Just saying. That's a bad habit. Never use a blade to clean your nails, even if you point the blade up. One slip and it's going to sting. Just saying. So there you have it. The Buck Knives 385 Toothpick. Very cool. Liking this. Oh, I said I'd look up the steel, right? So this is what I found out about it. Allegedly, it's a Japanese stainless steel. They say it is extremely corrosion resistant. Fairly general type steel for a knife, but they say, you know, you'll have to sharpen it fairly often, so not too strong in that thing. I think that the HRC rating on this is 48 to 50, so it's a little low, but hey, when you consider what I paid for it, well, that much. Pennies on the dollar. So my toothpicks grow huge amount of 2 of them. But now I'm looking at these things, I'm wondering if I should have a look at some of the other manufacturers and see what they're doing with their toothpicks. I know you can get a bigger one. No, not interested. I really like the idea of a little guy like this. If you need to be a little discreet out in a more formal offering, nobody's going to see this in your pocket. Nothing wrong with carrying it for an everyday thing. Would it be a work EDC? No, probably not. From what I've read about the steel, people are like, say it's kind of so-so. Personally, I don't mind sharpening. I'm terrible at it, but I've got so used to it because I kind of use my knives a lot at work. So, you know, I come back and I strop it a couple of 100 times, and then every now and again I'll sharpen it and strop it again. So, you know, and I have a lot of carbon knives, so there you go. But they do say this thing won't rust. Very cool. Toothpick from Buck. You gotta love this. It's a nice little knife. Look at it. Oh, can you see it? Let me get out of the way here. So there it is there. The Buck Toothpick 385. Might want to check it out. I'll put a link in the description below. I got this from Smoky Mountain, I think. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up, but it'll be in the description below if you. Very cool. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Hate it when my software doesn't work properly. You be careful out there, especially with these sharp and shinies, even these little guys. And this is a really pokey little blade, and it's pretty sharp. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.